Hi, and welcome back to The Best Thing You Watched This Week. Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself, Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday, do a podcast that's video and audio called The Best Thing You Watched This Week. And you guessed it, we talk about the best thing we watched this week. How many times can you say that 3 times fast without getting tongue twisted? Not many. I do have to apologize ahead in advance if I do like a coughing thing. I've had the lurgy this week, which is why I haven't done many reviews this week, so I'll just let Chris talk while I lean away so that you don't have your ears blasted in the audio that week. But I think we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. I know we have some Christmas stuff to talk about, as we generally do. And then in our audio exclusive, we're going to be talking about the third and final part of the trilogy of Apes Together Strong. War for the Planet of the Apes. So wherever you listen to your audio podcast, we are there, and we have that extra audio content, which is a movie we haven't seen for a while or have never seen. But we also talk about entertainment news and things we are looking forward to coming up, and that'll be like the Christmas stuff that's coming up this week. So possibly we can talk about a little bit at the end about where we see things going towards the new year. Are we doing anything new? Because don't forget, the first thing we are doing, literally the first time we come back, not this week obviously, but the 6th of January, same time this is released, we're doing a live Best Thing We Watched on Chris's channel, The Movies and Munchies, on my channel, The Ruby Tuesday. We will be live together at the same time. You can chat to us. If you like supporting both of us, you could have both two separate screens on and watch both chats and ask us questions at the same time. Maybe you can get your questions in, because we're going to be answering your questions. We're also going to be talking about the stuff that we've seen that week. If there's like little chats because people aren't awake or what time it is in the world, then we'll just carry on talking about what we normally do, the best thing we watched. But we're looking forward to interacting with you guys, because that's what makes this fun. The comments, the movie quizzes. It's always fun to see what you guys answer or what you don't answer. My stupid questions that I have in here, the interaction we get with you. That's why we do this. I mean, apart from we love chatting because we're good friends. We talk about entertainment. We're going to do that anyway. But having you guys come in, having a nice community now that some people have joined us on the Patreon. Incidentally, our Patreon starts at £1 and we have over 75 videos there, probably 80 by the end of this week, because I've got a bunch that I need to put up. And we've got some really interesting new Patreon stuff I'm looking forward to. One that is Eurovision. So I'm just giving a tease, something to do with Eurovision for the new year. And there's a skit coming out this week, next couple of days, that I haven't edited yet, but it should be up there soon. And we're going to do a couple of other skits that we've got planned in the works. So lots going on in here. But right now, we're going to do the video segment of the best thing we watched. But Chris, movie quiz. Answers from last week. How did that go?
Yes. Well, okay, so YouTube has been a little weird, because a couple of weeks ago, Nostromo was answering things, but his comments were just not showing up at all.
Okay.
Don't know why that was.
Yeah.
I think we have that sorted out, because now I'm getting his comments. But Tara Briscoe, her comments just were not there last week, or maybe even before that. So I don't know. I'm not deleting comments. I don't delete comments off of YouTube because no, I just leave them on there, because I mean, you whatever you say, and short of you being like tremendously homophobic, racist, or like threatening somebody, which goes against YouTube's policies. I let it be on there, because I mean, that's you,
freedom
and
of speech.
People can judge you for that. Whatever, but I don't delete them. I'll ignore it. Like, I just scroll past it if I don't want. But so anyway, Tara Briscoe won last week. Also won this week, as well as Chris Retzlaff, who won this week too. And he wants me to be promoted, by the way. I don't know to what, but he just wants me to be promoted. So you can think about that. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Theme for last week was wrestling. The answers: Nacho Libre, Ready to Rumble, and the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Nice.
Have you seen Ready to Rumble? David Arquette, Scott Conn, Oliver Platt.
I've seen Jackie Chan in Ready to Rumble.
I don't think that's the same movie.
No, I don't think that's the same movie.
Yeah, no,
I think it's another film called Ready to Rumble.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
This is a dumb movie, and I don't know if it holds
Rumble
up.
in the Bronx. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of a different. Yeah, it's just because there's the word rumble in it.
It's got the rumble in it.
Yeah, it's got the rumble. It's got to be the same movie. Yeah. Okay, so I don't think I've seen that.
I don't know if it holds up. There's this one scene though that always stuck with me about David Arquette getting a free Slurpee. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This week I have a bunch actually, not just 3. I have more than that.
This is like Christmas special.
Yeah, this is bonus fun. I think almost all of these are going to be very, very easy, which they're designed to be.
Yay.
So, just for the end there.
What, normally? Because they're not normally easy.
No, they're not normally easy. No, they're designed to be difficult. These are much less difficult. I chose very well-known movies, very popular movies, and for the most part, quotes that are very easily recognizable.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get some, at least one week.
Okay, number 1. Only one thing in the world could have dragged me away from the soft glow of electric sex gleaming in the window.
Yeah, I think I know that one.
Okay. God save my broken little... Oh, no, I put the words out of order. God save my little broken body.
Nope.
There are other quotes that I could have done, which are so much
more
identifiable.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, son of a nutcracker.
Yeah, I think I got that one.
Number 4, you couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
I know that one, but I don't know it.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come to me.
There was more than one lobster present at the birth of Jesus. Duh.
Duh.
You got to know that one, I'm sure. Okay. Why the hell are you dressed like a chicken? Okay. My last one. This one might be difficult, but maybe not. My dear partner, when what's left of you gets around to what's left to be gotten won't be worth getting, whatever it is you've got left.
Wow. Okay.
It's a great movie. It's classic. So anyway, let us know in the comments. These are all, I'm just going to give it to you too. These are all Christmas themed, Christmas movies. So there's a huge hint there. So if some of them kind of sound familiar, just run through your list of Christmas movies and there you go. We'll give you a shout out next week. Ruben, what is your question?
What is the greatest superhero movie that has or is during the Christmas period? How many do you know that are actually set?
Superhero?
Yeah.
Shazam.
That's pretty good.
I still really enjoy the first one.
I think the first one is actually really good.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, that iconic scene where he jumps off the building and does the thing and yells Shazam and then flies.
Yeah.
Superhero right there.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other ones. I'm sure there are, but
yeah, I mean, there's like Iron Man 3. Or Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Hawkeye is during Christmas.
Hawkeye. My go-to would be Tim Burton's Batman Returns.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I know there's a few more.
Okay.
Edward Scissorhands might be in there. I don't know if you can class him as a superhero, but an awkward gothic hero. I don't know.
Sure. I'm not sure I would.
What's your superpower?
Yeah, well, this is true.
Trimming hedges.
Yeah, and hair.
Yeah. It depends what you classify as superhero. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you can think of. I know there's loads more, and it's really hard to think of. When you take one genre, like what's your favorite superhero movie? You can probably like name 5 and then whittle it down.
Yeah.
But then add the Christmas holidays. Like, so that's a trickier one. So let us know your ones. I think
narrow.
Batman Returns is pretty good, to be honest.
It has been forever and a day since I've watched it. Like probably more than 2 decades.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's the Penguin. You got Keaton.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
As Catwoman.
Yeah. Damn.
Cool. Okay. Well, let us know that also. I would love to see the answers in this because there's also animated stuff too. You know what I mean?
For
Animated superhero
so
movies that probably
animated superhero movies that take place during Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really like that basically is a superhero movie. The Guardians. What was that? You've got
the owl.
Not the Guardians of the Owl of Gahul. No, the Guardians. It's got Santa Claus, the Sandman, the Rabbit. And that's a great film.
Oh, well, Chris Pine is the star of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I got to look that up now
really
because
great.
it's bothering me.
And they're basically superheroes because it's showcased as a superhero movie. They all have like these wicked powers. I think it's like the Iceman is trying to take over Christmas or something.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I really liked this too because Santa Claus was all tatted up.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They were really interesting designs.
Yeah. Trying to find it here. When was this? Gosh. Early 2000s?
Is it Rise of the Guardians?
No.
Rise of the Guardians.
Rise of the Guardians.
2012. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's actually a very good one. Hugh Jackman is the bunny. Alec Baldwin is North. Isla Fisher is Tooth. Chris Pine, Jack Frost. That's right. Jude Law is Pitch. I know there's more. Trying to think.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, that is
a great film. I need to watch that again.
I do too.
7.2 on IMDb. That's fairly high.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, yeah, that was fun. And that's a good family movie.
Yeah, it is.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So,
it's great fun.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into the best thing we watched this week.
Cool.
Would you like to kick us off? I feel like I'm always stealing the limelight. So.
Oh, no, it's our show. We it's give and take. I mean, there's nobody else here, so hey, one of us has to go first. Okay, yeah, because I think this is going to be on your list as well. But Gyeongseong Creature.
I'm so glad you know how to say it. Gyeongseong.
Gyeongseong. I
didn't even try. Yeah.
I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, or if I'm saying something that's not that.
That'd be worse. Imagine saying something just rude. Sorry, guys.
That's like a fear of mine that I'm. Yeah. But so Netflix series, part 1, which we can talk about that too. It's I don't understand this. I mean, I was told it was 6 episodes, but then there was 7. But then there are 3 episodes more coming, 8, 9, and 10 coming at the beginning of January. January 5th.
I think it's the 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the premise of the historical setting of the Japanese invading and being inside Korea and still oppressing them. I mean, as a real thing. Yeah. And then throwing in the sci-fi element of, well, and actually not, I mean, the human experimentation
that
during World War II.
Science fiction fantasy.
Exactly, because, I mean, we know that the Germans were doing, you know, experimenting on people.
There's that whole theory that Hitler was into the supernatural and he was like always experimenting on people like it. And so now you have this, which I think is based on stories, like a semi-factual to a point, right? Yeah.
And then we go into the sci-fi, which is, I liked it. I like this undefined thing that is injected or ingested by people, and most of the time it doesn't work. But one time
it kills you horribly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get this creature, like it says in the title, with some freaky abilities. I mean, and it's pretty much unstoppable. I mean, because even when there's a defense mechanism it has if it's knocked out, which I thought was like genius. So, did you care about the characters? Did you care about the human characters?
No, I really did. That was one of my favorite things about it, because, and I think it takes its time getting into the story. Well, after we had that initial really interesting, big, high explosive intro, it slows right down, and we get maybe 2 episodes of just world building of, this is the racism that we're experiencing. This is like the 2 cultures that are clashing. One is basically putting people under them like slaves. It has that kind of sense to it. It reminded me a lot of the Germans and the Jews. The Nazis and the Jews. Like it has that sort of flavor, I guess. And then you take the culture of both of those, you put them on display between the costume designs and the sets. And you have all these, it's like a really multifaceted, multi-layered thing. But what they concentrate is those people, especially the Japanese, that are known as the rebels, or some is not known as the rebels, but you spend big chunks of time with them, and not too long flashbacks, but when we do get flashbacks, they really add, and I would say not background to the character, they add emotional content to the characters that we've come to like already, but then you add weight to them. So it's not just like, oh, this is what they used to do, this is who they were. The stuff we're seeing, and they don't take like long, but it's like little bits that really go, oh, I understand why she is acting like that, why he's acting like that. Now I really care about them.
Yeah, the depth that they provide is outstanding. And I like in novels, because I read a lot of like murder mystery type things, or detective type, or something like that, or maybe supernatural or whatever. I love when it starts out with something big and then steps back. Yeah. And then we go into, because you've hooked me now with something fun and bigger, and it kind of gives me a taste of what's to come later. But now I get to experience the world, and I get to find out about the characters. And then, so when we get to another big action sequence, I'm invested in what's going on, versus it just being action for action's sake, which can be fun, but it's not memorable. Yeah. And that's what I loved this too, because we start out, you're right, with that big, and it's kind of weird, and we don't see all.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of don't know what's going on. It's the classic Aliens less is more. Like you literally don't see the creature feature until like episode 4, late into episode 4 properly. You see bits in the smoke, little things moving in and out, and it's really creepy. It adds to that atmosphere, and it really helps as well that the cinematography with the color palette that they use, so good. Like that's something that the South Koreans do amazingly well with their dramas. The look, the feel of it, they create atmosphere. And this was because there's a lot of South Korean content. Someone commented on my reviews, like, I feel like there's one every week. There basically is one every week, but now finding the good ones in that, because they generally have a level of quality to them, but the ones that stick out are really, really good. And this, I felt like the only reason why I wouldn't give this 5 out of 5 is because they've split the damn series. And I'm also hearing that they might have renewed it for a second season already, which makes me think this is not a contained story. I don't want them to drag it out. If you're going to do another sort of creature feature, like they finish one story and then someone survives from this and they go and do another experiment, and there's definitely that kind of Frankenstein story in here.
Yeah. And I agree. Like at the end of episode 7, we see a slight tease.
Yes.
Which I'm more apt to believe that that's going to then come to fruition in 8, 9, or 10. Episode, versus it being held for a second season.
They better not do that. Yeah, that will lose what they've built.
Yeah, because this whole, there's several facets to the story which are very engaging, because you have the missing persons mystery, the little bit of the rebellion type thing going on, which I think is going to have some more ramifications later, because, or at least in the last 3 episodes. And then you have the guy who is, he's not even an anti-hero, because he's not, I mean, he starts out, you're thinking that he's kind of like the bad guy who we're going to want to root for, but he's not a bad guy. I mean, he's really a good guy who's just, he's figured it out.
Yeah, he's the guy that everybody goes to if they need help in any way. And you might even think that he's such a bad guy, but the more that you get to know him, by the end, you understand even what he was doing with all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, and there's that scene with the, like, his aunt type of thing. I mean, she's not really his aunt, but whoa. To give context to not only their relationship, but him.
Yeah, brutal.
Was huge.
I mean, a lot of the series is heavy as heck, man. Like, when we say we're getting context, the stuff that these people have gone through is awful. We have horrible torture, the worst of mankind being showcased through what we're doing is right because might is right, and the winners make the history books, basically. And so they get away with so much for so long. So when there is an up and comings, I am like, yeah, kill him. Like, do it well. And when it showcases action, I mean, we haven't talked about the action at all. I suppose we can.
No, we haven't.
There's a variety of action in this. You have the monster action, which is incredibly done. And I think
gory.
And really gory. And I think for the most part, CG is good. Some of the movements you can notice isn't quite right, but I forgive it, because what would a monster actually look like in real life? Like, so your eyes go, but that doesn't look quite real. Like, but what is real? But for the most part, I thought the design of the creature looked great. So when we're seeing that in action through the atmosphere that they create is fantastic. But then we have hand-to-hand combat as well, like a sequence that's beautifully choreographed that I thought was excellent. Combat with gunfights that is brutal and also very real. This is not like quick time, dodging bullets. This is just what bullets would do to you. You don't know who's safe, who's going to survive. There's some characters in this that I absolutely love, that I was just gutted when I saw stuff happen to them. And
and also when they're not major players, but you still feel such a connection to them.
Exactly. And that's clever writing.
It is this. I mean, I love it. The everything so far. Like, I agree with you. The and I didn't give it a score yet, just because it's not done. And who knows? They may fumble the end and just And I think I will be really less thrilled if they ended on some kind of cliffhanger. I mean, if it is actually 100% confirmed that a second season is coming, I would be more forgiving. But also, how long is that going to be? Is it going to be 5 years?
Yeah, sometimes it's 3-4 years, especially the South Korean ones. We've been waiting for like Sweet Home and all of those for years. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and going back to the action too, like I love it when they increase either the frame rate or the shutter speed, so it removes the blur.
Tell me how you noticed that. Like, I was watching your review and I was like, oh, that's interesting. How do you pick that up?
Because you don't have, like, the faster your shutter speed goes, right, on just a regular camera, it reduces the motion blur, because it's now the shutter, even on a mirrorless,
it's catching on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so at 24 frames a second, you have, which is kind of what our eyes view things as. You see, if I move my hand, you see motion blur. There's a blur to it right there. If I crank up, though, my shutter speed, it takes on a less real look at different points, because you get to see things kind of hyper realistic. And and I love it on certain times when they do that. There's a bunch of movies where you can always tell where it shifts in an action sequence. Like, I even think of, like, going back to like Harry Potter and the last movie where they're running through the or no, it was the second to last movie. They're running through the forest, and the catchers or the snatchers are shooting, from their wands, and the trees are exploding and stuff like that. There's a quality in the film that changes, and it you can see that it's
goes to
now
hyper realistic.
Yeah, it's more, and it's still,
is that like
it's still
60
them.
frames a second then or something?
Well, and see, and I don't know if they're doing it, and sorry for geeking out on this, everybody, if you've just, but I don't know if they've increased the frame rate like they did, remember in The Hobbit.
Yeah, because that was so like, whoa.
Yeah, that, because you can keep your frame rate the same and still increase the shutter speed.
Okay.
And that will it will be less,
less
what am I trying to say? It is, yes.
Sometimes you watch something, it's too crisp. Yeah, which is what I felt in The Hobbit. It's too crisp.
Yeah, so it's not like we're doubling or tripling the frame rate. It's just I'm capturing more of the more information in each of those frames faster, and so yeah, that's my shutter going up and down. And so then it think about it in like a like an animated thing. Yeah, you and your frog there. Yeah. Hey ho, Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog.
Anyway, you will see it, I hope, now, like thinking about it and being conscious about it, go back and watch a couple of the sequences. So like, watch before the action happens, and then when they start to fight, and you get to see it, it's a shift. That's all it is. And it's not a bad shot. Like I appreciate it more because in these types of things, okay. I want to see some of the, the punches being thrown really quickly and the kicks and everything, and not have it blurred, especially when they are also combining it with quick cuts.
Yeah.
So, which I did appreciate that they didn't do that all the time, that we got to see, step back or just see a sequence play out for a few more seconds than, when every 30 or half a second, an angle changes. So, are you there? Did you lose me?
No, really. I'm reading the comments from Rotten Tomatoes from the audience, because it seems to have been not well received.
Really?
Yeah, the boring creature content will definitely ruin your Christmas mood.
Are we watching the same thing?
This show is tedious and unoriginal. It's only enjoyable for fans of the cast. I'd rather watch my house's creature dog pee.
That is so weird, because
no tension, no horror, tedious, boring, bad monster design, bad sound design. Been waiting for this series to start for months, only to be utterly disappointed. I mean, it's early days yet. It's only 50, so normally we get like hundreds and sometimes thousands. So I'm waiting for people. For the moment, the critics love it. It's like 80.
Yeah, because I care about the characters, and there is tension there. Even though, and admittedly, the mystery with the creature, it's pretty obvious, and how it ties in, how the whole story interweaves together. That part is obvious, but I didn't mind that.
If you want to know how when a critic hasn't actually watched the episodes and they're reviewing something, here's one from Chase Hutchinson, who reviews from Collider, right? Fairly big titles, giving it 5 out of 10. Just as we get glimpses of the creepy creature, there are flashes of a better show and some moments that grab hold. The trouble is the rest of the series just marches right past its most promising elements without stopping for more than a second. So one, this isn't a fast series. It takes its time and everything. But the glimpses are only from the first few episodes. We get full-on proper creature revelation, fighting, gory moments for like episode 5 and 6 and 7. So he hasn't watched it. Yeah, so he hasn't watched it.
We get a ton of the creature.
That's just proof. Yeah. Giving critics a bad name.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Well,
I loved it.
dude,
I thought it was fantastic.
I loved it too, and I'm very excited for.
I really
for
want.
the
I'm
next
really
3
looking
episodes.
forward to those next 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's next on your list?
I do want to talk about Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, because I know you didn't like it, and I know it's very much split in like. Well, for one, I've seen people that have been like had goodie bags, and suddenly their scores are really high, and then I've seen critics that have not had goodie bags and their scores are really low. I haven't had any goodie bags, but my score would be fairly high because I prefer this movie to a lot of the Star Wars movies we've had. It was an interesting comment from my son as well, actually. Youngest son, he's 18. And he said there were more original ideas in that than the Star Wars stuff. He preferred this to the Star Wars stuff he's seen of late. And I couldn't disagree with him. I can totally see where Zach has taken from every genre of sci-fi, fantasy, heroes. Like, this is his hero. You can see the Avengers in it. You know, like when once we have all the team members assembled for Rebel Moon, you can see like where he's going with it. Now, coming from the perspective of this is the beginning of a universe that they're building. There's going to be an anime. There's going to be a game. There's a part 2 at least. And I think Netflix has signed on to do, produce most of those. I think fans, not even fans, people that have watched Snyder films, that enjoy Snyder films, know what to expect when you're getting and that's what you get from this. People that don't like Snyder films, that still go and watch a Snyder film, you're dealing yourself, because Snyder sticks to what he does best. He does slow-mo, a lot of it in this movie, like a heck of a lot of it.
Too much of it. I'm sorry. That is, and I'm not even done with the movie yet.
But stylistically, visually, this film's incredible. The sets, every world we go and visit is uniquely designed, differently made, creature designs that are incredible to look at and so much fun. I love all the characters that we've been given ideas of who they are, and I say ideas because there's not a lot of backstory given to those. The main protagonist, she gets the most, Sophia Boutella, and she does well with what she's given. There's an android that I love that we get next to no information about, but there's the promises of things to come that I'm very excited about. We get the obvious like Han Solo sort of character, all those that you could totally place in the Star Wars universe.
Sure.
I love the model designs, the character designs. There's a spider woman that was beautifully done. Like horrific. There's creatures that you see designed from other planets that I thought the CG was incredible on, like literally brilliant. There's a moment where somebody's being controlled. The human is being controlled by like a squid tentacle thing talking through it. It's like that reminds me of that moment from Independence Day, but just way worse because it's like zombie sort of talking. The ideas of the fantasy is what Star Wars wishes it had done better, right? There's moments in this that really outshine. So yeah, I can totally get people not liking, like, there's so much slow-mo. Yes, too much. There's some stuff that doesn't quite work in the storyline. Yes, but what I want, I'm a kid eating a bag of popcorn with my sweets, seeing superhero elements, exploring the galaxy, watching my team overcome the worst odds. Like, if I want an escapist movie, this is it. Like, this is great. And I think that's what Zack Snyder caters for. He does the escapist new worlds. There's a Pegasus in this. It's so well done. It's fantastic.
Did you notice the Harry Potter one?
Yeah, sorry, not Pegasus. The Harry Potter.
The hippogriff?
The hippogriff, yeah. Oh, that was wonderful.
I liked the design, but it made me laugh when the character to approach it bowed down. I was like, seriously,
That's just law, Chris. You approach it with respect. Have you never done that with hippogriff?
Not recently, no.
Well, next time.
Okay, so here's my thing with this. A lot of the design and the creativity in it, I like. The woman who fights Nemesis, who fights. Is that her name? Nemesis.
Nemesis, with the two swords.
Yeah, she fights the spider lady.
Yeah.
Because you saw this in like the trailer. She has lightsabers, except they're not always lightsabers, and I liked that. I liked the idea of that you can turn it on and off.
Actually,
and
the weapon
still be a weapon,
like the molten weapon. Very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
No. It's so like there's elements of this that I'm really liking, and I'm only halfway through because again, this is a 45-minute movie that is stretched to 2 hours and 20 minutes because of all the slow motion.
Some of the slow motion really does work, but I do understand this.
Some of it does work, but there is a point where it becomes a gimmick. Rather than enhancing.
Does it?
Exactly. Anyway, I'm only halfway through the movie, so I can't speak to how it ends, and my opinion is not fully formed yet. I'm like, I keep holding out hope that I'm going to be sucked in more. Like I'm watching it, and
there is
I'm
a moment,
struggling.
unfortunately, it comes towards the end where you feel more emotionally entangled because of something that happens with the team. And that's kind of when I wanted, like, oh, now I want to see what they do, sort of thing. Yeah, and that's kind of where it ends. So,
well, and and to be fair, like, there's all these rumors that Snyder has his director's cut of this movie. Why don't we just see that at the get-go?
Watch time.
Because they
released two versions.
I know, but people would eat up I mean, that's the thing, because we watched the Joss Whedon abomination of how he changed Justice League, and then we were given Snyder's Justice League as it was meant to be.
To be fair, they spent another $70 million on Snyder's Justice League.
Okay, but you know what?
Yeah.
But the story was wonderful.
So
his
good.
was
Very
made
well done.
sense. It had characters that I cared about. It had villains.
Every
who had
one of
weight
his
to them.
director's cuts are better than the original.
Yeah.
So why didn't they just release the originals? Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just let him do this thing, especially on Netflix? You're not putting it out into the theater. So if you have a 4-hour director's cut, what do you care?
Yeah.
That means
you would
people are
love
just
it.
sitting
Way
there
more
watching.
watch time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're come on. I binged through 6 episodes or 12 episodes of a show. Why can't I just sit down for a 4-hour movie?
And they saw how much
he may
people
even-
loved the Snyder cut of, what was it called? The Justice League. Yeah.
Justice League.
Yeah.
And he even broke that up into chapters.
Yeah.
So you could there were natural break points where it was like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow to finish this out.
True.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think they're shooting themselves in the foot.
If there is a extended, I'll definitely watch it. I like it as it is. I can see its flaws, but I went in knowing what it was going to be, I think, and I wasn't disappointed with what I got. Like, there were some parts I was just like, that would never happen. But I'm still the little kid, in the chair with the popcorn going, oh, look at that. You got the hippogriff in a Western sort of Firefly series, like, and then you have different like Chinese influences or Japanese influences, your Western space opera. It's so cool. Yeah. Like the coolness factor. That's what I liked.
The creativity is there. I got to give him that. I want to be more invested in the characters.
You need to watch these films with me, because I feel like my
your
excited little kid will
feed off on me a little bit more. Yeah. Okay.
Unless you sit there going.
No, see, and that was the funny thing too. I was excited to watch it despite what everybody else was saying. I was like, I don't know. Is it really going to be? And I'm like, well, I'm just not engaged. That's really the only thing that's holding me back, is that I would like, especially if you say that there's some really good emotional and character weight towards the end, I would prefer that if that was woven throughout.
Yeah.
So that,
but it's a thing that happens that you probably see coming, but it's a thing that I think spurs the audience onto liking the group that is now formed, gives them emotional weight. Yeah.
Sure.
The only thing I really didn't like about the movie was literally the only thing, that the major issue for me was this focus pull thing that they do, where a lot of it is out of focus, I noticed that it works sometimes in some films. So there's a bridge scene. You'll notice right at the beginning. Not even right at the beginning. Anyway, people are walking over this bridge in this nice idyllic village with, where they're growing crops and stuff. Mm-hmm. The bridge is in focus, but everybody outside of the bridge that we're meant to be focusing on is out of focus. So they walk into focus. And it was really, it took me out of it. It was like, eh. And I know that's a stylistic choice, but he does a lot of that in this movie, where it's like this character is talking. I saw once that he did a shallow focus, a pull focus really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm not sure if I was meant to see that or that was on purpose, but there was a lot of stuff like that's not in focus. You have such a beautiful background. Why aren't you letting me see it? So,
yeah.
Choices. Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad you had a lot of fun with it. And so we'll see if, when I finish it, maybe my opinion goes up or down. We'll see.
Right. So, Chris, what is next on your list?
All right, so this one is a rom-com, paint by numbers, exactly what I wanted it to be, really. Anyone But You, Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney. It feels a lot like a late 90s, early 2000s rom-com.
Remind me what it's called again?
Anyone But You.
Anyone But You. That's such a generic rom-com title.
Oh, totally. No.
Yeah.
And you have the annoying trope of characters not communicating, which sets off the entire misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Had they just had a 30-second conversation, all would be fine, but then we don't have a movie. So you have these two people who meet, they have a great first date, and then because of a misunderstanding, they don't talk and they actually become antagonistic to each other. They happenstance are related or friends with two people who are getting married, and that wedding is taking place in Australia. So now they are traveling to Australia.
Geez. Do they sit on the plane next to each other on the trip up?
No, they don't. But it's the setup. I mean, like they show a lot. They show too much in the trailer of certain aspects of it, and then it plays out exactly like that in
on Netflix, or is it like a
no
theater?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just came out in the cinemas. We went and saw it opening night.
Okay,
and it's cheesy, it's cringy in spots, and yet it is very, very endearing and sweet. You know all of the beats coming up. I mean, it is so predictable.
But what makes this the best thing on the best thing? Like, why does it stand out for you amongst all the other rom-com?
Well, the charisma and the chemistry between the two, I loved. Like, I actually, I didn't look it up because I just kind of wanted the fantasy in my head that these two were actually together.
Oh, wow.
They feel like they are falling in love. There's little things, like I had said in my review, like Sydney Sweeney bites her lip at one point, and it felt natural. Like, it felt genuine. Like she was looking at him and was like, actually like, oh, I have some feelings for him. And
see,
then
you often don't get that in romance rom-coms. You have to believe that they're into each other. And if you can get that down, the atmosphere, then everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah. Well, and there's like some of the comedy, actually a lot of the comedy works, but I think what makes it even better, like in the trailer, there's this part where they go on a hike and they have decided to, they understand that they're being played to try and be set up as a couple.
Yeah.
And it's Much Ado About Nothing, the Shakespeare story. But because they know, they're now playing into that to make people believe that they are actually a couple. And so they have, like in the trailer, they're looking out on this this vista top of a mountain because they all went on a hike, and so they have their hands down each other's pants on their butts and stuff. So there's moments that are shown in the trailer that are exactly in the movie, and they're cute. But in this scene, there are times where the focus shifts to the rest of the group. But then Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell are back in the background, out of focus, but you can still see their movements. and it is hilarious because it's not the focus, and yet it is just. I mean, what they're doing is crazy and just awesome. So there's these things. There's I mean, even to the credits, when you go to the end credit thing, it feels exactly like a late 90s rom-com movie, what they do.
Do they have like bits of some of those 90s? They had like extra footage, I don't know, behind the scenes or bloopers or...
It's all scenes from the movie with a theme interplaying, but it's full screen. It doesn't shrink down so that so the credits are over off to the side while you're watching and it is, it's so good. It's so much fun. And you have the side characters, like Dermot Mulroney plays Sydney Sweeney's dad. Now, we noticed that it almost felt like he was searching for his lines, like that he was struggling a little bit. So I don't know if that's actually true or not. But his character and what he does is funny because, outside of that awkwardness, I mean, he embraces the goofiness of his character. And then we have Brian Brown, who is the stepfather of the other person getting married. And he says a lot of things that he should not say but he's like, I'm from a different generation.
You need to have one of those.
It's and it's all of these little things, and that's where it's sometimes cringy, but it works within the context, and that's what the whole thing is. It's a lot of fun. You have this dude who's an Australian, and no joke, he's having a conversation with Glenn Powell, and Glenn Powell's reaction is exactly our reaction because I have no idea what the guy is talking about. Like he's saying all of these words.
He's speaking Australian words.
Yes.
In the dunny, on the barbie.
Yeah, it's euphemisms and colloquialisms and everything. And you're like, and we do get the context later. I mean, in very, very graphic detail. But it's just, it's all of these little moments together, but really, truly, the connection that these two have, you see that they're going to be together. We want them to be together. And when they are in brief moments here and there, it feels like there is something there, like they are building something. And that's not easy to do. And it's not commonplace in a lot of, at least modern rom-coms. So.
Nice. This actually sounds like I'd enjoy it. I don't know that I'll pay cinema tickets to go and watch it, but when it comes to streaming, for sure, I'll give it a go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even when it hits on demand, maybe to rent it or something, it's definitely, it's
nice.
Fun.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so this is my my final thing. I'm excited to talk about this. I actually just watched it today. I'd forgotten it was coming out because I've been so under my game because this week has been like a blur of snot and coughing. But season 2 of What If has started, and there's going to be I think 9 episodes, and they're releasing one every day until like the end of the year. So we've got 2 episodes so far. The first episode is called What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps, and then the second episode is called What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Both very unique introduction again. So Nebula is great. It's like the 30-minute episode that's like Blade Runner. She's on the Nova Corps planet. What's it called? Where the Guardians arrive. Xandar. On Xandar. And basically this time round, the guy with the purple hammer. My brain. What's his name? That
Lee Pace.
That Thanos uses to find the first Infinity Stone in like the original timeline.
Yeah.
And eventually gets killed. They do the dance off. They're the Guardians. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember him. He is like the Thanos. Ronan, thank you. Ronan is like the Thanos in this version of the timeline. And so he's destroying all the planets. And so the Nova Corps close their planet with a massive shield. And the shield is like there for 50 years. That's the beginning of it, but it's basically like blacks out the sky, and things start going bad on Xandar because they're now separated from the rest of the universe where they were able to do whatever. So someone does something bad, and Nebula, who's gone from being like a bad person, is now on the Nova Corps team as a detective, and she's sent on this like noir case that is basically, it ends up being massive in scale. Like it's basically the whole planet is in trouble if she doesn't like save the day. But what's great is you get to see some of the other characters from like Guardians of the Galaxy, from other end credit sequences that we've had before from the movies, all play like a major part. It's almost like an alternate version of the Guardians, and it's so much fun. It also has like a story that you're totally invested in, and I think that with the first season, it felt like a lot of the time like your good guys could be bad guys. I like this one because it really takes the characters that you sort of know, but you believe them to be in this role. The second episode, Peter Quill, when he was kidnapped as a child, if he was actually given to his father, Ego, this is that story of who that kid would be. And then he comes to Earth, for whatever reason, he's destroyed a bunch of planets already, like Ego wanted to do, because Ego wanted to be everywhere. And now we have Earth Mighty as heroes, but they're earlier heroes. So we have like the original Ant-Man. We have the... I'm not going to say who's on the team because it's really fun to find out, but it's a different Avengers team, which makes it unique to see who's on them and how they go around saving the day. And I really like this. I was like, damn, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie like this. This would be good story to get some of those writers that are writing these stories to write your next 10 years of, like shape up what's going on with MCU at the moment, because the MCU's in it. It's in a mess. So
sure,
yeah, but stylistically, voice acting, the look of it, not very short, like half an hour chunks, is great. Really, really fun start, and strong start to season 2.
Nice. Well, I have access to all 9 episodes. I should watch.
What? I'm not jealous.
I didn't even ask for them. They just sent them to me. So
that's doubly hurtful.
Sorry. I'm glad to hear it's great, though. That's fun. Okay, Ruben is sad.
What's next on your list, dude?
Okay, so this is actually a little older. I don't know why I felt the need that I wanted to watch this again.
Oh dear.
But in 2018, Richard Madden starred in a Netflix series. It was a limited series called Bodyguard. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I always thought that was getting a second season. Did it not?
To the best... Oh, well, now it's saying there's a season 2 coming. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was an intense, very intense series.
Yeah, because so the synopsis from IMDb is troubled war veteran turned police sergeant David Budd is assigned to protect controversial Home Secretary Julia Montague. What struck me on this second watch is the patience of this story, and of the filmmaking, because you have scenes where no dialogue is happening and we're just looking at people looking at each other, or and the stress and the tension that is arising from the interaction and the people looking at each other. The mystery in here, I think, is great. There is peril that you don't see coming. That it's like, whoa, they did that. I wasn't expecting that. He is Richard Madden is a wonderfully complex and broken character.
Yeah.
And you watch some of his own bad decisions create complications for him, but then other complications that arise for him that are not of his doing, and yet how in the world are you going to get out of this? And it was funny because it's been such a long time since I have seen it, because I watched it when it first came out, and I've watched so much since then that I remembered tiny bits and pieces. That was it.
Oh, nice. And that's actually fun then.
Yeah, so it was kind of like watching it again, because there was a point where something happens to a character. I'm like, wait, I don't even remember this, which was good because it was a shock all over again. So it's 7 episodes right now, or 6 episodes. Is it 6 episodes?
7, I think.
7 episodes, I think. Yeah. And phenomenal. Just so good. I mean, a lot of the mystery, the tension, the intrigue, it's just a really good mystery with some tense action also. And
so this was actually a BBC original when it first came out.
And was it really? Okay.
Yeah, and then Netflix bought the rights to it everywhere else it went on. So I watched it because it was recommended by a family member who loves like the BBC dramas. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I remember just being blown away by like how many times I would hold my breath, because the tense scenes are like really tense, like, and it's so real. Like, it's the content, the story could totally happen and has happened sort of. Yeah. So you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and brutal moments as well that just are so visceral and real. Like, yeah, incredible acting. I'm not so sure I want a second season because it's sort of contained and just maybe they're doing a Jack Bauer thing, like where somebody experiences another terrible day. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some things you just need to leave alone. If you've struck gold, like leave that gold alone.
Yeah, exactly. And it just so I don't know. We'll see if the second season really does come to fruition. We'll have to see how that is and how it's executed.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you want to talk about our Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Or do you have over 9,000 that you want to do?
I have one anime. I don't mind. I can talk.
You want to do that first?
Sure. Let's do that.
Okay.
So over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
Okay. Shangri-La Frontier. Original title, Shangri-La Frontier Kusuge Hunter Kamingo ne Iruman Tasu. Yeah, so Shangri-La Frontier. This is surprising that it's been greenlit for like a longer season. It could be 26 episodes. It might even be longer. There's 13 episodes at the moment. I started watching because I thought it was going to be the classic 12-13 season and done for anime. It's not. They've got lots of story that they want to, and we've had lots of themes similar to this. So a high schooler Rakuro loves beating bad games, but can he discover all the secrets hidden in the best-selling VR game? What made this really fun was that it's a similar story to how SEO, they have these VR goggles that they put on their head. You lie down, so it's fully immersive. You're not standing up when you're playing, because it puts you, it has technology, so it takes your consciousness basically and puts it in, so you feel everything. So you're in that world.
Avatar.
So Avatar basically. And here we have a kid who plays broken VR games. There's a select bunch of people that take these games that people don't play because either they're too hard, there's things that you have to do to be able to complete them that nobody takes the time to figure out. He's like one of those guys. He's worked out. He's known as like the best guy to be able to work out how to defeat the hardest guys because the computer has made them unbeatable or something. Like, he's that guy. So one of his friends recommends to him, well, you've played all these games, why don't you try an MMO RPG, just an MMO, triple A game, like one that isn't broken, that's fully immersed. And he loves it when he gets to it. But it's seeing the skills that he has in a AAA game. So it's basically he makes all decisions that normal players don't make. He immediately encounters a beast. There's like these 7 beasts in this world, over 30 million players, and
Oh my gosh.
there's these 7 beasts that are like people want to fight if you're in a big group and take down, but they've only seen once. And like one of the first monsters in the second episode that he comes to because of the path he's taken, because he plays so unusually, is like one of these ethereal wolf beasts. And he immediately gets marked down with like debuffs. Like he's never allowed to wear anything on his top, so he's like just naked on top, so he's no armor or anything. And he goes around wearing a costume head of a blue bird. So he's like, he's so good at what he does. He still manages to beat things in a way that he shouldn't be able to do. It's just a really fun, interesting, different take on the Sword Art Online like anime that we've had so much of. I don't think it's like the best animated, like it's nothing like on Jujutsu Kaisen, like sort of animation style, because I don't think they have nearly enough time. If they're doing so many episodes and they're kicking it out, so they're going to have to cut corners in some places. But it's nice to have an anime that isn't like one of the darkest things ever that's going to make you cry, that is actually just fun to watch and really easy to binge through. This is like, I can stick this on, scroll on my phone, watch the action scenes, laugh at the ridiculousness, laugh at the pervy character, and then get in on the emotional content when he's trying to build the team. There is a romantic storyline in this, where there's this girl in the real world that hasn't had the courage to say how much she likes him, and she knows how good of a gamer he is, but she's never been able to complete or play any of the games he's played until now, because he's playing a game that 30 million people have been in on. And so she jumps into this game that she's played a lot of, and she's like level 99 super warrior, and anybody that knows, like, she's well known in this world. She keeps trying to find him and just missing him. It's fantastic. A really fun way to do that. So I encourage you, if you're needing a new anime to watch, this is definitely one to put on your list.
Where's it playing on?
I'm watching it on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right. Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Is this a first time watch for you?
It might as well have been, because I haven't seen it since like the late 90s when it came out.
Okay.
Or mid 90s, I guess, Yeah.
Yeah.
The Long Kiss Goodnight from 1996.
Yeah.
Rennie Harlin's action.
It's quite old.
Written by Shane Black.
Yeah.
Gina
Lethal.
Davis, Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Why do you love this movie so much?
I love this movie because when I was 17 and I just arrived in the UK, I made a friend called David. And to be honest, when I was young then, I was still a little shit. But I was rebelling against my parents because they'd taken me away from everything I know or from in South Africa. And so I'd find one friend that loves movies as much as I did, and that was my escape. So we went to a cinema to watch a movie. The first movie, I cannot remember what was playing. Can't remember it at all. But it was a cinema that was far away. It was like an hour away. We got there by bus, and then the bus like dropped us off the wrong side. It didn't even take us to the cinema, so we had to walk over live train lines. I didn't know at the time that I was crossing live train lines, but my friend David just took me across so we could cross the field, get across the train lines, and then get to the cinema. And so at midnight, the first showing of Long Kiss Goodnight was coming out, and I think I'd seen a trailer for it, and I love Samuel L. Jackson, love the action. And this was like back when it was, still, well, when was this released?
96.
Yeah, so that's literally when I arrived in the UK. So,
okay,
early days. And so we watched The Long Kiss Goodnight. And I loved it when it first came out. And then me trying to get home. The next day, I believe it was Mother's Day, we both had an amount of money because there were no longer any trains running. It was 2:30 in the morning, and there were no buses running. So we had to get a cab. And the cab, we gave the cab driver money, saying, we have £20 to give you. Can you take us as close as to home and when the meter runs out, we'll get out then. And he did exactly that. He wasn't kind at all. He was just like, literally to the cent.
Wow.
Get out and walk.
Wow.
And we did. We had like a good 40, 50, maybe an hour walk to get home. But yeah, that story is cemented into the day I watched The Long Kiss Goodnight. And since then, my wife loves assassin movies, and we joke about some of the lines of like, chefs, do that, chopping up the vegetables. You're going to eat the blood-soaked vegetables and love this. Upon rewatching it, I still like it. I still really enjoy it. I think it's the camaraderie between Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. Their relationship holds it for me. And there's some moments with some of the dialogue lines that I crack up. But there were some things in this film that we laughed so loud at on this watch. Anyway, before I talk about those things, what did you think about it? Did you hate it? Did you not like it?
I didn't love it. There are parts of it that I enjoyed a lot. It is very 90s.
Very 90s, especially in the editing as well.
Yeah, the style, the editing, the music. I mean, there's this part where this has this jazzy music playing, and you're like,
why is this even in here?
Just...
It has aged, man. But it's the editing style from the 90s, like everything that was made back then. Like if you had the trailer for this, it's literally that guy in a world where, it's like...
Exactly. Yeah. The concept I like. And honestly, the most memorable thing that I always had from this was Brian Cox's line to his mother,
dog? To his mother-in-law about the dog.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Like that's the one thing out of this movie that always has stuck with me. Like it's so funny. But I mean, the story jumping back and forth is very disjointed. But some of the action, as cheesy as it can be or whatever, becomes a lot of fun. There is a scene where Gina Davis is trapped with her daughter in a enclosed room.
Yes.
And she causes something to happen that then has ramifications on Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I laughed out loud because I did not remember that at all. It is that stuntman, it's amazing they lived.
Nice work, dude.
Yeah, because that actually, you can see, like, they don't do the cutaway where something happens and then you see the character.
No, that guy was flying up with debris and fire.
Dude, and through things.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
It's very well done. Yeah.
So good. But I mean, like overall, it is fun because we get to see this switching back and forth of her persona as she begins to remember things. I think the movie's too long. I mean, I felt the time. Like it goes on just.
We noticed that when we were like, oh, there's still this much to go. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
It felt like it kind of ended in one point, and then it was like, oh, they're going to do this whole big action bad guy scene. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I mean...
But that end scene is brilliant. I loved it. Michael Bay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, that this is... If you watch this from the mindset of the mid-90s... then it fits perfectly within this.
Yeah, this was one of the better 90s, well, I think overlooked 90s movies.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look at what else came out right around this same time. But yeah, I think it got overshadowed, and I think it, Samuel L. Jackson is hilarious in this.
I've got a gun in my right pocket and a shotgun in my left. I love these characters. And it's like, first when I met you, you were all like, oh, phooey, I've burned down muffins. It's so many great lines from him in this.
Now you walk into a bar and sailors run out.
Sailors run out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It will probably be another 2 decades before I watch it again.
No, we'll probably watch it in a couple of years, yeah.
Will you? Yeah. I mean, for as much as I liked certain aspects, overall, like, it has a time and a place for me.
For sure.
And it's okay there.
Yeah.
Like, because I can pick out individual scenes that I really enjoyed. Like, there's a moment where she is driving somebody home after a party.
Yes.
Whoa. That. Yeah, exactly.
My wife and I do that now. She's like,
Yeah.
what do you want? It's no sexy time. I want a milkshake.
Move our finger in and out of
In and out
the
and say hick. That's not the scene you were talking about, is it?
That is the scene. Well,
that is
what came right after that, really.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but then you have some bad animatronics too within there.
Yeah.
So and the leg moves and it's just like really just. Like,
That's just how you look when you've been like hurt
sure,
and you're an animal.
Sure. Yeah. So you know what? I mean, if you've never seen it and you're going into it now, you have to place yourself in the right time frame and the right mindset. You cannot watch this movie with a modern day outlook, I think.
Although a remake of this movie could work really well.
Ooh.
An assassin female protagonist, I mean, this is right up the alleyway of now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there are several actresses that would be outstanding to watch. Yeah. So,
I'm not normally on the remake mode, but this would be a good film to remake. This would work.
Because I think it could be improved upon. I mean, not only in just special effects and stuff, even though there's a couple of them like that with Samuel L. Jackson that, I mean, that's going to be hard to recreate.
We'll come back to the special effects. I want to talk about one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I think I would like to see a remake of this, depending on who's directing it, I think.
True. Yeah.
But yes. Okay. Special effects. What?
Okay. So there's this guy in jail that sees that she's alive, and he's like, Garrett. So he goes to find her. That there's Christmas carolers, and it's like you hear the music go, and then they have like this big fight showdown. He uses a shotgun to shoot like a bazooka hole in the wall, and it does like this almost perfect circle. It just goes, and there's a big white light, and it looks like, my wife said, it looks like special effects that hadn't been finished. Like they just didn't have the budget. And then because there's a hole in the wall, she's manages to take a kid and like throw it through the wall, like convenient. But no shotgun does that ever. Unless you have one of those guns that has like the bazooka rocket at the bottom.
Oh, the rocket launcher or the grenade launcher on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of just explodes things. It doesn't make a hole the size of a child. I laugh every time I see that, but this cracks me up. Well,
because then you finish with her. Chefs do that.
Chefs do that. Love it. The husband going like, oh, soon to be husband's like, who are you?
Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this. We wish you happy Christmas, Merry Holidays, whatever you happen to celebrate. Happy holidays. Don't forget we have our Patreon opportunity. £1 gets you in there, and it's over 75, maybe close to 80 videos. Exactly, £1. Not in Ruben's nose though, because that's actually extra. That's a different tier you have to pay.
You can get
for.
the special lurky price.
Yeah. Don't forget to do all the YouTube-y stuff, like, share, subscribe. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, me, Chris, Movies and Munchies. There is the turkey thumb.
I'm trying to remind you of something. 6.
Yes, thank you. January 6th. We don't know how good or bad this is going to be, but it will be something to behold. We invite you to join us live as we broadcast. Ruben on his channel at the Ruby Tuesday, me on my channel at Movies and Munchies, and we will do our show, but also interact with you in the comments, answer questions. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be, yeah. And so you will also get at that time the full podcast experience where we talk about our entertainment news and our, the things we're looking forward to and the thing that we didn't like, or, all that stuff. It's all going to be crammed into one live thing, and you can chat with us. And so Saturday, January 6th, Saturday, January 6th. Is that correct?
Oh, so it's not coming out on the Sunday.
Sunday, January. Is that what? I don't know.
I don't know.
Golly.
Are we recording on the 6th, which is Saturday? We should probably know this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about January 6th. That's a Saturday. We are going to do it on
the Saturday.
Saturday.
Cool.
So, and because we are in vastly different time zones. We invite you wherever you happen to live.
To stay
whatever
up
day
late,
it is.
to get up early.
Yeah, maybe on the train to work, depending on where you're at. I mean, well, I don't even know. So anyway, yes, on our channels, it'll be fun. Our podcast, the extended audio where we talk about those things that I had just talked about. Don't know what to do with my hand. It's a basketball. Wherever you have a listen to podcasts, check us out there. If you never have done so before, if you could rate and review us, that'd be huge. With that, we will see you next time. Take care.